David, not sure where you want to start. So yes, today we did find out from Pierre Poilievre what the Conservative plan was going to be in terms of finances. Anything there that kind of caught your attention specifically?
Well, specifically, no. What I would say is that overall, what the sense I got from this announcement from Pierre Poilievre, first of all, again, staying the course till the bitter end. Nothing out of the ordinary in terms of what the Conservatives under Pierre Poilievre have been preaching for several years now. But I get the sense this week, and with what Pierre Poilievre announced today, that I really get the sense, Aaron, that he's looking at April 29th. And somehow Pierre Poilievre is playing the long game. I mean, today, again, anything can still happen, but the chances of a conservative government, minority or majority, are almost non-existent right now. And you can't help, I can't help but thinking that he's playing the long game. I mean, he is looking at, okay, I'm going to be opposition leader. I am going to have to continue preaching this message, and I will not deter from the platform that got me where I am today. Mm-hmm. And so I think what he's saying to the faithful, to his Conservative Party of Canada, that he will continue, and he is pushing forward beyond Monday's election and preparing the next few years. That's the only way I can understand it, because you were talking earlier and your question to the listeners about policy horizons and the quotes he took from that report in his announcement. Right now, Canadians and Quebecers are not looking at 2040. They're looking at next week. They're looking at the end of the month. We have over 50% of homes in Canada that they barely have enough money for the next 2 weeks. And so the anxiety, the uncertainty, et cetera, they are looking at what's going to happen in the next few weeks and months. But with Pierre Poilievre looking and talking about 2040 and talking about what he wants to do in the next few years, is more about, I think, establishing a la Republican Party in the United States. The MAGA movement and Donald Trump didn't come up overnight in 2015, 2016. Yeah. And so the idea here is that I really think that brand of Canadian conservatism is going to want to continue, and they're going to say this is an outlier, this is because of very special circumstances, and our message is still good and true, and is going to ultimately win out.
Yeah, I kind of wonder, though, at this point, with Pierre Poilievre having been involved in politics, David, for so long, you kind of wear the moniker, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Mm-hmm. And are you prepared to sit there? I realize this is, and people have pointed out, this is the only thing he's ever done in his life, so maybe he's very comfortable being in opposition forever, but you wonder if the party is.
Well, it's his party. Let's remember the 2022 leadership race, he brought in record numbers of members, right? Hundreds of thousands of new members to the Conservative Party of Canada, which gave him a resounding victory against, Jean Charest, who represented, what I would call, the old Mulroney Conservative Party. And he has still yet to refuse to change his message throughout this campaign, even though major players like Corey Tonight, who 3 weeks ago now came out very publicly. He's one of the most influential conservative strategists in the country right now, architect of the 2 Doug Ford victories, a Stephen Harper advisor back in the day when he was prime minister. Saying, you have to change your message. He did not. He did not sit down with Doug Ford. He did not try to kiss and make up with Doug Ford, even though he had won a third resounding majority a couple of weeks before the federal campaign started. He is doubling down. And again, we still have a few days before election day, of course, but who else? I mean, it's his party. And, a lot of people here in Quebec and elsewhere, call him, Canadians' version of Donald Trump. Well, Donald Trump didn't leave after losing in 2020. He stayed and ultimately won again. And so I'm wondering if that's not the play, because I know for sure that in Western Canada, they're not going to change the ideology. They're going to vote resoundingly conservative. And that newer, brand of conservative, Canadian conservatism, embodied by Pierre Poilievre, embodied by Danielle Smith, she's not going anywhere after April 28th. That's going to continue to play, and maybe play even louder, because the Liberals are staying in power and could stay in power with a majority government.
By the way, I'm just seeing new polling coming out as we speak, David, from Polling Canada. So a seat count has the Liberals at 192, which is 32 more than they had before, and obviously majority. Conservatives at 121, that's up 2. The Bloc at 21, which, I don't know, is that high?
Wow.
Is that high or low?
That is low. That is extremely low.
Okay. 11 less than they had last time.
11 less than they had last time, and they were looking 3 months ago, Aaron. They were looking at over 40 seats in the polling. The same polling had them forming the official opposition. They were looking at around 45 seats, and with the cratering of the Trudeau Liberals, they were in a position to form the official opposition with around 45 seats from Quebec.
Imagine.
So, and right now also, in terms of percentage, the Bloc is, as I've said this before, and you know this, but still I think it's worth saying, it is the Bloc's percentage of the vote right now in the polling is hovering around 25, 27%. They are underperforming. The Bloc they're underperforming support for independence, which is hovering around 30%, plus or minus 2, 3 sometimes. But so this is stunning. And again, the idea is the polls are clear. It's not about where you're going to be in 2040. It's not about a specific issue. One figure that has been very stable is, who do you believe would be a better prime minister? And Mark Carney is still ahead of Pierre Poilievre by 15, 20 points, depending on which poll you're looking at. And when you're looking at women, regardless of the age bracket, that goes up to 25 and 30 points for Carney. So this is not changing. So this is again, the polling staying stable. The polls haven't really moved in 2-3 weeks now. Now, we talked about the debates and all this about the debates, but the debates didn't really move a thing. You have maybe a little more support, a tad more for the NDP.
Well, to that point, David, that number now is in terms of seats. You know what the NDP is at? It's at 9. 9.
Yeah, 9 seats. So that's the thing right now. In the rest of Canada, NDP voters are saying we cannot take the risk of a Poilievre government, and so they're going completely liberal. And here you have in the francophone vote in the regions that would normally vote Bloc and could be tempted in the past for voting conservative, is so concerned about a Poilievre victory and also have the confidence that the only adult in the room right now would be Mark Carney, that they're willing to go liberal this time around.
Can I, with respect to that, and I'm going to wrap up, I heard Yves-François Blanchet today, so the tact has changed now to some degree.
Oh, yeah.
He's saying, okay, look, it looks like the Liberals are going to win, therefore now it's safe to vote Bloc. So this is a bit of a left turn from what it was literally only about a week ago.
It is completely, and you started showing. I think this is panic mode actually for Yves-François Blanchet in the Bloc. I mean, during his interview at Tout le monde en parle on Sunday, he was resigned to the fact that he even said, it's going to be a Carney government. And the thing is, what he's saying is that, and he's basically saying the same thing that Jagmeet Singh is trying to say in these final days of the campaign, is that, look, you can come back home and give us more seats so we can defend, Quebec files. But again, the polling is not showing that tack is working, and none of Poilievre's efforts. I mean, we've gone from protecting milk quotas to immigration to Mark Carney doesn't like Quebecers and doesn't know Quebec to now it's safe. He's thrown everything at the wall and nothing has stuck.
By the way, for what it's worth, we got to wrap it up. Mark Carney today was asked about supply management, right, and said he would not touch it. So that takes another quiver out of Francois Blanchet's, I guess, right?
Do you know where he was today? He was in Trois-Rivières. That's how safe they feel right now in the Liberals. The Liberals have not won the Trois-Rivières riding since 1980. And in the last week of the campaign, that's where the Liberal leader is going.
Isn't that interesting?
And while Pierre Poilievre is in the Greater Toronto area, the GTA, so this is his base. And where is Jagmeet Singh today? Vancouver, where his seat is, and he's in jeopardy of losing.
Trying to hang on to
That's a lot of where we are right now.
David, thank you so much. Appreciate it.